What is up, YouTube? Family Grimmo back with another deck profile for you guys. Give you something pretty cool today. First of all, I want to say that if you haven't noticed, in my last videos I posted and now, I now have a tripod. So hopefully my videos will be a little bit more watchable and they won't be bouncing around like some of my other ones do. Just be pretty chill like this so I can do more things instead of just holding a camera the entire time. Today though, I'm giving you guys a deck that a lot of people completely forgot about up until the release of Tachyon, the last set, Tachyon Galaxy, and that is Dragunities. Give you guys a quick history on this deck. They came from the dual terminal. They were one of the dual terminal archetypes that were super hyped because they did really well in Japan and back a few years ago, and they came over here. They had a little bit of success at first, I think, but I think they only like top 16 or top 32, like a few jumps, like one or two jumps, and then people sort of like realized the deck was kind of not all that great, so people sort of like just like, oh, Dragunities, they're garbage. But then when Tachyon came out, we got a very important piece to the deck that makes it way more consistent, along with exies, monsters that didn't exist back then. This deck is now, I believe, to be like a sleeper top tier deck, sort of right where they have your E-Dragons, your Vers, Evil Swarm, your Prophecy, your Fire Fists, your Mermails. I think they're sort of up in that tier 1, tier 1.5 range. So don't be surprised if you see a few regionals or even a YCS or something like that this deck might top. But let me give you guys my build. First off, I have the Dragunity Core in the 3 Phalanx. He's your main tuner in the deck because he summons himself when he's equipped to Dragunity. And of course you run the Dragunities that equip him from the graveyard. 3 Trinity Ducks, your winged beast, sort of like the main go-to guy that starts off all your plays. You summon ducks, get your Phalanx from the graveyard, equip, and then go off on your Synchro and Exies combos from there. Dragunity Arm Mistltein. He's your guy that allows for your rank 6 plays. So when you have your level 6 Synchro on the field, and then you have your Phalanx, instead of going into the Synchro climb into the level 8, you can summon a Mistltein from your hand and go into rank 6 and then go off on other options from there. The 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. The 3 Tempest Dragon Ruler of Storms. This is sort of the reason why this deck has become alive again. It's just because of how broke the Dragon Rulers are. And with Tempest, because of his search effects, he becomes extremely insane in this deck and helps out a lot. You just have to sort of like play around him a little bit. Pitch him to the graveyard with your field spell, banish him with Gold Sarcophagus. There's a lot of things you can do with this thing. You don't really use him much to Exies, so I don't run any rank 7s as you do in like a regular Dragon Ruler deck or other decks that run the Dragon Rulers. In this deck, he's more of like a search card. 2 Zephyros, the Elite. Level 4 Winged Beast can special summon himself. I run 2 just so I can draw into him because I have no other way to get him into the graveyard besides to draw into him and then dump him with Ravine. And he helps with Synchro and Exies plays. 2 Garuda the Wind Spirit. Old card that suddenly has become relevant again because of Tempest. And that's this is the guy that like you banish a wind monster from your graveyard, special summon him. I think he can like at the end phase switch a monster to defense. I don't keep him around that long because I'll probably Exies him out. But the point of him is that you would dump a Tempest in the graveyard, banish your Tempest, special summon him, and then you get Tempest Search effect. So he's a winged beast, so that helps with your Dragunity Synchro plays and gives you access to rank 4 Exies, along with ducks. For the spells, your 3 Dragon's Ravine and 3 Terraforming. Dragon's Ravine is sort of like the main card in the deck that came out of the structure deck and makes the deck like this is your consistency card right here. You pretty much either search every turn or Foolish Barrel every turn. The 3 gold sarcophagus, usually use this to search out a Tempest, and then get Tempest's effect to search out a Wind Dragon and add it from your deck to your hand. 3 MST and 2 Night Beam. Because this deck is very sort of OTK centric, or most duels only last about like 2 turns, 2 or 3 turns because of the amount of plays you're going to do. I run a lot of back row hate, more so than probably most decks do, because I don't want back row. I want a clear field for me to go off with my monsters. But this is actually sort of like a meta call right now, because some decks, certain decks just don't run very many back row at all. Some decks do, like your Evil Swarms or your Constellar or some of those slower decks. But some of the ones like the Prophecies, the Dragon Rulers don't run that much back row hate. So this is probably what I would side out in certain matchups, because it's just dead in some matchups, and in other matchups it's like it's necessary. And then sort of your staples right now: Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, Heavy Storm. Honestly, a lot of people, just a quick note that I'm surprised about, a lot of people are not running these cards anymore, and I think that just kind of speaks to how completely broken the format is at the moment. Is that like these 3 cards that were banned for a long time, and then were seen as like, sort of like game-defining cards, are now slowly sort of being phased out because of just how broken some of the new stuff is. Heavy Storm is still a fantastic card, but with all of the sort of like monster heavy decks, not running a whole lot of traps or prophecies or dragon rulers, it's being either phased out or sided most of the time. I'm still running it in here. Monster Reborn, still a fantastic card, especially in this deck. Dark Hole, this card is actually not really being played anymore. It's kind of weird, especially for someone like me who's played for a long time. And I also myself might take it out of this deck. I'll probably put actually like a Pot of Avarice in here or something, because I feel that I don't run Pot of Avarice in this deck, and I thought it would be like a win more card, but just the amount of times that it's live in this deck is surprising. So I might cut the Dark Hole for a Pot of Avarice, but for now it's still Dark Hole. And then my trap lineup: 2 Call the Haunted to get my monsters back, 2 Breakthrough Skills for effect negation, and I can also use its effect while it's in the graveyard, so if I have to dish it with Ravine, I can. And this is like one of the best cards at the moment. This card, Fiendish Chain, both of those outclass Effect Veiler right now. And then the 2 Solemns. My extra deck is your core Dragunity cards and the 3 Vajrayana and 1 Gaydurg. Gaydurg's sort of like your option number 4. These 3 are your main extra deck cards, because what's insane about him is that when you synchro with him, you can then equip the Phalanx that you just synchroed off to get him. You go Duck's Phalanx into him, special summon the Phalanx again, and then you can either synchro climb into level 8 or offer the Phalanx with to summon Mistltein, then you get your Phalanx back with Mistltein's effect, and then you can go into rank 6 and just keep going from there. Your rank 8s, or I'm sorry, your level 8s: Crimson Blader, Stardust Dragon, Scrap Dragon, that's sort of like the 3 basic ones, and I also run 1 Red Dragon Archfiend. This is sort of like your flex spot for the level 8s. I'm trying him out right now against some of the more defensive decks like Sets, stuff like that. He could also be Colossal Fighter, Thought Ruler if you want like a second Scrap Dragon, a second Stardust, a second Crimson Blader, like that, or another rank 6. I'm trying him out right now because he's just a decent option, and he's 3,000 attack, so he's huge. Gets over a lot of things. 1 Trident Dragion. This card is like an OTK by himself, as you can easily summon him in the deck, going like a Phalanx and a level 8, and then off a field spell and some other card, and then attack 3 times for game. And now for the exies. I run 2 rank 4s. Lightning Chidori is sort of like the basic, like it's probably like one of the best themed exies in the game. It needs 2 wind monsters, really easy to summon in the deck, and it's also the deck's sort of out to Evil Swarm Ophion, because this deck has a rough matchup against Evil Swarms. Queen Dragon Jin, I'm actually testing her. I've seen a lot of players run Gem Knight Pearl in their builds, and the reason why is because Pearl will attack over Ophion, and he's also immune to the breakthrough skills and the Fiendish Chains that Evil Swarm like to run. I'm trying her out at the moment because instead of the sort of like matchup based card that Pearl is, she's more of like a continuation of sort of like my plays. I can go into her with Zephyros and something if I want to, and then summon out a Mistltein and just keep going with her. So far she's worked out really nicely. My rank 6s are the Bouncer, the Attune, and the M7. And then the 1 Gaia Charger to go along with my rank 6s. My side deck is kind of in flux at the moment for this deck, just because of like I need to figure out like what the good matchups are from my like that. But if you notice that the deck doesn't really run Legionnaire and Atlas main deck. Some decks might run like 101 because they don't really help so much with the sort of general plays that the deck does. But these two by themselves are sort of, I side them in for like the Evil Swarm matchup because again that's probably this deck's worst matchup. And Legionnaire and Atlas will kill Ophion all day and they can't do anything about it. So these two are side. I've also seen some decks, that's sort of the main deck, and some other options. I've seen some people run 1 Levitain because he's searchable off of Tempest. I haven't tested him yet in this build, so like the Levitain Lightning Darkness Dragon combo, if you guys don't know what that is, look it up. It's just like recurring, keeps recurring him with Lightning Darkness Dragon. I've seen some people run that. I haven't tested it yet, but I might try to. You got your Cards of Consonance. I don't run this card anymore because I only have the 3 Phalanx, but if I was back when I was running Phalanx and Atlas, I was running Cards of Consonance to get them in the graveyard faster. So those are just some cards that I'm considering along with Pot of Avarice, as I said before. So let me know what you guys think of the deck. It's a deck that a lot of people like don't expect anymore, or they just kind of write it off because they think it's bad. They think it's like how the deck was, you know, years and years ago, three years ago, whatever it was. So let me know what you guys think of the deck. Rate fix. I need to do a little bit more testing, like tournament testing with this deck. I've only like played my friends a few times, and I have completely destroyed them. Like pretty much like I do whatever I want to, and the only reason why I lose is because I misplay. So let me know what you guys think. Peace out, YouTube.